I'll interject with some of the AI initiatives that we're doing for marketing, for sales, for operations, and for finance, because that's really what we're trying to do, is really looking at these different departments and saying, how can we add a layer of AI, whether it's through automation or an agent that does the work of someone who's either there or an expert that would do something, right? So this is the first kind of thing that we do, right? We do this kind of onboarding process where we really want to identify end to end, right? From marketing, sales, fulfillment to finance. What are all of the different systems? How essentially do you go from moving from a customer who doesn't know anything about you to eventually converting them, buying your product, buying your service, to delivering that service, and then eventually collecting on that cash, right? I think, Jay, you kind of mentioned that you do something like this as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this right here becomes actually like a very, very important aspect in our process, because this helps us identify all the problems, right? We do this exercise again to understand the current state, because in order for us to really improve the future state, we need to say, we like to operate on the theory of constraints. Are you familiar with that, Jay? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think your
Yeah. Got the
supply
book
chain.
right here.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. So then the ability to understand your current state and your bottlenecks, your constraints, is really important. So that way, when you go into implementing a new solution, where to focus, right? So we start off here. The second piece we then do is we map out all the different problems, right? We do this exercise of identifying all the problems that a SMB faces, and then also identifying what are all the potential deliverables that can help mitigate that problem. We do an analysis of how many hours it usually takes a person or people to do that task, whether it's an expert or a support person. What's the tedious level score? And then what are the tools involved? And this is actually really important. The tools involved, when we think, and I'm going to take a step back. I don't know if everyone knows the details of AI. Actually, how many people are using, like, I don't know, we'll call it prompt engineering as part of their day-to-day work, just out of curiosity, just so I know who I'm talking to.
100% this audience.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
If you guys know like the proper structures of how to implement a good prompt, right? You have your user, you have your system generated prompt, your instructions, your examples, your output.
No, but I just keep asking it to tell me to make better prompts, and it's getting better every day. So
Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, and that's kind of how I started off too, right? It's just kind of asking it to give me the better version.
So go ahead. What was the framework again?
There's a system level prompt, right? Which is basically saying it's the role that you're giving the AI or the LLM to fulfill, right? You
Yeah.
are an expert business analyst, or you are a financial advisor or something like that, right? You're kind of giving it some context. That's the system prompt, right? That's the kind of the starting point. Actually, let me see if I can find an example, which I have probably from here. Yeah, here you go. Actually, that's good. Another one. Let's do this one. I actually was doing a couple on your company, Jay. I think this is Mash Tanks. Is that your?
Shank. Yeah. Well, all one word,
Okay,
not the
yeah.
S.
So here's kind of an example of a really kind of focused prompt, and you'll see actually why this matters. I'll show you the output. But the first part is the system prompt, which is you are a senior business analyst trained in investment diligence, right? I won't read this, but that's kind of the first part, right? Kind of giving it the context. Then you focus on providing it the instructions. And the instructions, sometimes you actually input like what tools to use, or exactly the step by steps to follow, right? Or the questions to answer, right? And then the third piece is the actual kind of output. What do you want it to, what's the output that you want it to look like, right? And so by doing that sort of prompt, you get a much cleaner and consistent output that then you can use for whatever purpose, right? And so the reason why, again, I describe this is because when doing this analysis, we want to understand what are all the tools, and also what are all the steps that are being done to perform that specific deliverable, or that to solve that problem. Because when we're building out our agents, which I'll show you guys in the future, or a bit later, the more detail of the steps that you provide, the better the outcome. Because what we're really doing is we're trying to recreate results, outcome, right? We're trying to create outcome, right? And so this exercise of kind of going in, understanding the current state, understanding the problems, understanding the tools, the steps, that starts to build this kind of knowledge base, right? Because think about it, ChatGPT is very powerful. All these LLMs are really powerful, but they're only powerful with the information that you give it, right? And nowadays, it's only really accessible to the internet, which is still very accessible, very powerful. But imagine you being able to connect a business and all the steps and all the processes, SOPs in place, right? That now you can start to take what a person does and recreate it through some sort of series of prompts.